Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. And I am so excited today. Just got back from work. There was a parcel on my doorstep, so at least I didn't have to go collect it from a delivery office. But it is from IntoResin. And if you haven't experienced IntoResin molds, you need to. Probably the only way to describe it. Their molds are handmade and they are next level. They've got diamond effects, they've got crystal effects, all sorts. And I know I joke around and play around with some cheap molds from Temu. These aren't those. These are slightly more expensive, but you know what? They are worth the money because they last forever if you look after them as well, guys. I have got a discount code as well, which is CCUK. And do you know what? If you haven't tried one of their molds, just get one and try it. You will see the difference, I promise you. And it will probably convert you from those cheaper molds because they are absolutely stunning. And the best thing for me is you don't have to do a lot to them. So for example, here's a little clear crystal pig mold of theirs that I've got. All I've done in there is just put a little bit of glitter in. And look at all of those lovely crystal effects, you know? So that's one of them. I've also got the small starfish mold as well. Again, another one that I did with the little piggies with just a bit of that peach red alcohol ink to give it the pink color. Again, look at all the detail on them though. They are stunning. So I'm excited for these because if I'm being honest, I can't remember what they are. So the only thing is you do tend to have to wait about 15 days because they're handmade before they come out to you. They also always come in one of these great bags, ideal for storing your molds in, guys, so don't throw them away. So I'm excited. As I say, I can't remember what it was I ordered, and if I'm right, yep, there is a care guide, and this is the updated one. So epoxy resin suggested for the crystal effect molds, not UV resin, although the thinner ones you might be okay with. I would always recommend the 2-part anyway. Don't touch the crystal effect part with your hands because you could ruin your mold and you don't want to do that. Avoid using a torch or a flame on the molds. Use only tape to clean the mold. Don't wash it. Don't use alcohol to clean it. I have seen some people spritz the tops. Again, I don't know if you should do that, so I don't risk it. Store the mold flat and separately in a zipper bag, which they conveniently provide. And make sure to loosen the resin finish pieces from the molds a little bit before demolding. And check the molds before using them. If there's any quality issues, let them know and they will sort it. So as I say, I am really excited for these. Can't remember what they are, so you're gonna find out at the same time as me. So, the first one, which is, have a look. It looks like a bird mold to me, a bird of some sort. Might be a cardinal actually, looking at the point on its head, which is really cool. I can see some detail in there in the feathers. I'm probably gonna use a bit of red alcohol ink on that to create sort of a red cardinal. And again, you probably could get in there with UV resin and give it a black beak if you wanted to, and some eyes, but I don't think I'm gonna go that far with it, but I think that is a cardinal. And I'm not a twitcher, as you may call it, but that's the shape it looks like to me. So that's a really cool mold. So looking forward to trying that. And the great thing is, I think that mold to me looks like it's probably only going to take maybe 2 ounces of resin. So not a lot, guys. So that's that one. Put it back in its packaging until I've mixed up my resin, just to be extra cautious. This one, definitely one of the handmade ones, looking at it. Alexa, stop. And this looks like a diamond effect Seahorse. Look at that glisten, guys. And I like the fact it's a little fat guy as well. I love the little pot belly on it, so hopefully that's going to turn out really cool. And as I say, look at all of those crystal effects, guys. Handmade, absolutely stunning. I'm not sure if this is the diamond effect rather than the crystal because of all of those shimmers, but they will all come through to your resin, guys. So looking forward to seeing what this one looks like. And then this one Love how they put a bit of glitter as well in the actual silicone. Makes them stand out, makes them a little bit different. Jellyfish, I think. So look at that, guys. Again, with that diamond or crystal effect. Absolutely gorgeous. So, and again, if you look at these, they're not huge molds. I would be surprised if these two took an ounce of resin. You know, they don't look like they're going to take a lot. So I think for the first experiment, what I'm going to do is just give a tiny drop of color to these in the resin. I don't know why, but I'm thinking blues. I'm looking at my alcohol ink chart, and if you didn't see that, go back and see it. And I'm thinking aqua and blues would look really cool for these. So I'm going to try just a couple of drops of that, I think, with those, and some red alcohol ink. I might go for the red or the raspberry for that, I think, for this one. So I'm going to mix up some resin, and then we'll be right back. But don't forget, guys, if you want any molds from IntoResin, I can't recommend them enough. Their molds are next level. Use the discount code ccuk, get yourself some money off, get on the website. You will be amazed when you try their molds, so trust me on that one. So gonna mix up the resin, put it through the debubbling machine, and I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. So here we go, guys, and all I've done is mixed up 6 ounces of resin, put it through the debubbler, and as I said, I don't want to do too much to these, but I do want to add a tiny bit of colour. And I've got these diamond particles as well, which shouldn't sink. So I just want to really add to that glittery, sparkly effect that we've got there with that crystal effect. And I can't wait to see what these turn out like. So all I'm going to do is a tiny bit of alcohol ink. And I don't think these are going to take up a lot. I've mixed up 6 ounces because I've got another project that I'm going to be doing as well. So all I'm going to do is fill one of these cups and see how much we get in there. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of this diamond sparkle as well, just to give it an extra bit of sparkle. And you don't need a lot of this, guys, but I'm just putting enough in, hopefully to give it a nice look. And then I think I'm just going to add a couple of drops of alcohol ink, and that is going to be it. So just going to mix that around. Again, it's gone through the debubbler, so you want to be quite slow at this point, because the last thing I want to do when I've taken the trouble to get the bubbles out is put them back in again. So here we go. So as you can see, you just get that lovely diamond sparkly effect. Now, I could do these clear and they would look amazing, but as I say, for the video's purposes, I think I just want to add a tiny bit of colour. So I've got my Let's Resin alcohol inks, and I'm going to just go in with a bit of midnight blue and a bit of green and see what colour that gives me. So 1 drop of the midnight blue. In fact, now I'm changing my mind. I'm going to go in with a drop of red. Blue and red, which should make a purpley colour. I might still add a green as well. And see what those 2 drops of colour do to that resin. So literally that's just the blue and the red, just to give it a bit of a tint, nothing more, because as I say, I don't want these to be dark. I still want them to be mainly translucent. And there we go. So that's that midnight blue and that red, and I quite like that colour. And now I'm just going to pour into the mould. It's as simple as that, guys. And if you have good quality molds like these ones from IntoResin, resin art really is as simple as this. Add a bit of colour, add a bit of sparkle to your resin if you want to, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Now I've got to let that cure, and I've still got some left in here. So what I'm going to do is pour some of this just into the head part for now. And if I'm quick enough, which I don't think I am right now, I'm going to add a tiny bit more of this clear. And then I'm going to add a green into it. So this is hopefully going to go in the tail and maybe push it out just a tiny bit. And again, a bit more of that sparkle. And resin work doesn't get much simpler than this, guys. The key is having a really good mould like these, because the better the mould, the less you actually have to do to it. There we go. So we've now got that sort of greenish colour. And I'm going to start in the tail, hopefully pushing it back a little bit, into the belly as well. And there we go. So we will see. Slightly over poured that one, guys, but really happy with those. And we'll see what they cure like. It is really as simple as that. And in fact, I'm going to take a tiny bit of that resin out, because as you can see, I've over poured it, which is just going to cause me problems when it comes to demold. So again, don't worry about it. Just get yourself a wipe and take off some of that excess, you know. It's as simple as that. If you do this now, it'll be less of a problem for you when you come to actually demolding. Just use a wipe or some kitchen roll, whatever you've got to hand, and take some of it out, like so. And it's rare I have to do this, because it's not very often I overfill. It's normally the opposite way around. So, but there we go. Pretty happy with that. I think it's full. I've made a bit of a mess, but I still think it will cure wonderfully because of the mould. So there we go. So I've just taken some out, and now I'm having to refill it. So that is those two done, and we're going to see what they cure like. Now remember, do not use a torch on these guys. If you must, tiny flame like that. Done. Okay, and that's just a lighter. Now this one I think is going to take about 2.5 ounces of resin, and I want this to be a special piece. So I want it to be really red. So I'm going to fill one of these cups again. And this time I'm going to go in with some of this diamond glitter powder type stuff. 1 scoop, I think a full scoop for this one. Like so. Then I'm going to add some alkaline, and I'm going to add some mica to this as well, because I want to see the full detail of this mould. So I'm just going to add some red alkaline first of all. And I think I'm going to go with 4 drops, because I want it to be quite dark. Like so. And then I'm going to get some red mica powder as well. Now unfortunately, red mica powder, that looks really red in there. When it cures, it'll probably go slightly pink. But we'll see, guys. So again, just going to get, in fact, I've not even opened that one. I'm going to get my other red, which I have opened. Again, exactly the same one. I've just got 2 of that. And I'm going to add a decent amount of this mica in here, because this isn't a crystal mould, but it is quite a detailed, I think it's a red Cardinal mould. So I want it to be quite pigmented. And again, not adding anything else, just that mica powder and that diamond sort of dust, I think they call it. And just mixing this initially away from that mould, because I don't want clouds of mica everywhere. There we go, that's quite a deep red, or as deep as I can get it anyway. And then I'm going to half fill the mould, because it's quite deep and there is some detail in there, guys. Now don't forget, whenever you're doing this, you're probably going to add a few bubbles to it, and that's why, again, it helps if you just half fill your mould like so. And I think I'm going to need a tiny bit more resin in there, maybe not actually. And then if I see the beak, there's an air bubble there, so I want to squeeze. I want to make sure that the resin goes into that beak, because I want the beak to be a detailed part. So I'm just giving it a squeeze, hopefully getting any air bubbles out. Then I'm going to move it back, because there's this tail bit as well, which I want to make sure is filled, like so. And again, just giving it a squeeze around, again into that beak, making sure that that resin is completely in there. And hopefully that way I'm going to avoid an air bubble. So it just takes a little bit of care and attention. And now I've done that, I'm pretty confident I can't see an air bubble in that beak now. Just in case, give it a few more squeezes. And I'm pretty confident that is now filled. So now it's just a case of filling the rest of the mould. I'm going to go about another halfway. And it is going to need a tiny bit more resin. But I'm just squeezing this tail again and that beak, making sure that I'm taking that attention, hopefully, to make sure I've got the piece. Now, whilst I've still got quite a bit of mica in here, the great thing is I can just add a bit like that. And hopefully that will still be a similar colour to what we've already poured once it's all cured. And it still needs a bit more. I have underestimated again, guys. So I think this one's probably about 2.5 ounces. And I am going to add a bit more mica and alcohol ink to this bit because I don't want it to be too transparent. So, tiny bit of the red, like so. A couple of drops of the, in fact I'm going to use magenta. Let's give it a slightly different shade for this layer. There's 3 drops. And then the red. Like so. And then a couple more bits of those that diamond dust, just for this final layer. Give it a stir. Like so. And then that should be enough now to just top up this mould and we'll see what we get. And I think by luck I've just about filled that pretty much to the brim. Just going to scrape those last drops out. And hopefully we'll have a pretty cool looking red Cardinal, Jellyfish and Seahorse tomorrow to demold. So I'm looking forward to that. Now I am going to move these to one side because I am going to do another project. But do me a favour guys, like and subscribe to the channel. Massive shout out to every subscriber so far. Massive shout out to every member as well. The channel couldn't be growing without you and I really appreciate it guys. So again, there's one bubble there. Quick blast with my long neck lighter and that is that done. So these are now ready. I'm going to leave those to cure and I'll see you guys tomorrow for demold. And I hope you're as excited as I am. And don't forget guys, if you want some of these IntoResin molds, get yourself on the website, IntoResin.com. Use my discount code CCUK. I promise you will not regret it. These are amazing molds. So see you guys tomorrow for demold. Hey guys, and we are back and I'm excited to demold these IntoResin molds. They're going to have that gorgeous crystal effect, hopefully. And I'm hoping that this Cardinal hasn't got an air bubble in it and we get that detail in there. So, in fact, I'm going to start off with the Cardinal because that's the one that doesn't have the crystal effect, but I think it's still going to be a really cool design, guys. I've never demolded this one before either, so I'm just going to have to wing it. Excuse the pun. And hopefully not break anything. Luckily, it's quite a flexible, soft mold. So I'm going to go with the tail, get that out first so that doesn't break. And then I'm going to try and just loosen this beak a little bit before I demold the rest like that, because I don't want to risk that snapping off either. There we go, he is out, or she, whatever it is. So I'm pretty confident it is a red Cardinal, and it's got that lovely red colour. Look at that. Look at the details on there. And if you wanted to make it authentic, you could always go over this with a Sharpie and paint the beak black and the tip black as well. But I quite like it all red with those different shades. There's that texture as well in the wings and in the tail. Really liking that from IntoResin. And you can just see that glitter coming around the back. Lovely. And even the eye there. The detail in their molds is absolutely amazing. And I think this mold, it's not overly expensive. You know how I said that you have to pay a little bit more? I think this one was £17 on the website. And these smaller ones were only 11, guys. So it's not going to break the bank, but you do get a much better quality mold. So let me know what you think of the red Cardinal in comments. And do me a favor, guys, if it's your first time to the channel, or if you're a regular viewer that hasn't yet, do me a favor, just hit that subscribe button. It makes such a big difference to the channel. So there is the red Cardinal mold. And again, those prices I just gave you, that's without the discount code. So use that discount code CCUK and get yourself some money off. So next, I'm going to demold the Jellyfish. I love that sound. Just as it demolds. Lovely clean mold, ready for the next pour. Here we go. Wow. Look at that. Now, I don't think you could get more of a crystal effect or diamondy glittery effect if you tried, guys. That is absolutely stunning. And again, you could make it into a brooch. You could do whatever you want with it. Look great as a little pendant, key ring, whatever you want. But just look at that glisten. Absolutely stunning. Love that. So that's that one. And now the Seahorse with my pot belly. I don't know how they knew, but they knew. So again, this is the one that I slightly over poured. So I'm just going to take the excess off first. And it's as simple as that. And then ready. And just being careful around the tail so that I get the tail out, but I don't damage that mold. And there we go. Lovely clean mold again, ready for the next pour. So here we go, guys. And I'm loving the color scheme there with those purples and that green just coming through. Wow. Again, look at that sparkle. I haven't seen any other molds yet where you get that same sparkle just from your resin. And that's why these, to be honest, you don't have to put any color in if you don't want. They look amazing clear. So thank you, IntoResin, for these molds. They are absolutely gorgeous. I love them. And if you haven't already, check out their website, guys. Every one of their molds I've had so far is stunning. And it's a little bit more, but again, these are 11 quid each without the discount code. So with the discount code, you're going to get some money off as well. And you're probably going to get 100, 200 pours out of these, no problem. So you've got to factor that in. You pay for what you get when it comes to molds, and IntoResin for me are one of the best when it comes to molds. And just look at that sparkle, that effect, absolutely stunning. And again, the 3D Cardinal as well, he came out really cool. And one of the best things for me, these do not use a lot of resin, guys. It's probably just over half an ounce each, I would say. But you get that amazing effect. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and subscribe. And if you can, memberships are open as well to get you all of those perks, including early access to every video I make. So do me a favor, like and subscribe, put something in comments, share it. And if you can, join memberships. Appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll see you guys on the next video.
Welcome to our custom space, where dreams take flight. A party visions coming to life. It's a perfect sight. We born together, blooming three, resin family. Testing my God's new creations. We set the free. Join our journey, like and subscribe.